Hi guys, so I wanted to talk with you about how our programs work because we get a lot of questions about that, about how does it work? And I'm guessing that's in response to seeing that maybe a woman that's in menopause has lost over 25 pounds in 6, 8, 12 weeks and kept it off. And since our programs are designed for people that have trouble losing weight, and many of you are in that camp, you're wondering, well, what is it? What's the secret? Please tell me more information, more information on these programs. How can they help me? So I'm here to speak directly to you so that you can see if these programs are right for you once you understand of the overarching details of the program, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper and get more granular into the details of the program. And once you're through watching these videos, if you'd like, I'll send you some really detailed information through audio books that you could really take a deep dive. In fact, I would going to take a poll to see how many people really wanted just for me to explain everything to them, right? Now, that for many people can be a successful solution once I explain everything to them, but what we find is it's the coaching and the accountability that really make our programs work, all right? So if you like the idea of that and you've had trouble losing weight and you've tried like everything else and nothing seems to work, or you might lose that first 3, 5, 8, even 10 pounds, and then it just like stops working because you hit that plateau or that stall, and then nothing works, and then you get frustrated, and then you gain the weight back. This very well could be the solution for you, or something like this. All right. So my name is Dr. Shane Oliveris. I'm the owner and founder of 3 Points Wellness and Weight Loss in Lee Summit, Missouri. And we like to think that we help you think differently about your weight loss, because this is a totally different type of weight loss program. It's brain-based in its approach. So we're using a lot of psychological, behavioral modifications, as well as physiological and gut-based and inflammatory-based. So to put it in just one camp and call it metabolically based weight loss would be a misnomer. To call it medical weight loss, that would be a misnomer. Certainly not shots or pills or medications that just turn off your appetite so that you don't eat. It's not that. It's not starvation. So it's quite unique. So if you don't mind, I'll get into it right now and give you the high level, and then we'll dive down a little bit deeper so you can understand really how it works and if it's right for you. So with this program, people can lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 6 weeks. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds too good to be true. Well, we do this in 3 phases. Naturally, guys are going to lose a lot more than women, particularly women that have had babies that are past a certain age, that are in certain medications or have certain conditions like thyroid problems or PCOS, or any number of hormonal changes that are perimenopause, premenopause, menopause, hormonal changes that are really pushing them and driving their bodies to store and hold on to weight, all right? So first and foremost, if you hear 20 to 40 pounds, the 40 pounds, we've seen women do that, but it's more like in the course of losing at 6 weeks, maybe it looks like 25 pounds, and then at 8 weeks, might be closer to 30 pounds, and then by the time they're out at 12 weeks, they've lost maybe 35, 40 pounds. And the more you have to lose, because maybe you're bigger to begin with, the more you're going to lose in that program. That one makes sense, right? So the way this works is you eat very specifically for the first 2 days. So for the first 2 days, you're taking a special blend of natural amino acid based supplements. And these supplements are pharmaceutical grade, so they're very, very high quality. They're tasteless, they don't have some nasty taste, anything like that, but they're sublingual, so they go right into the bloodstream because there's a lot of absorption under the tongue. So sublingual supplements and delivery works very well. It goes right into the bloodstream and it gets to work right away. So imagine this, picture you're going to start your program on a Saturday, and Saturday and Sunday you're eating very specific foods that we give you a list, and it's a long list of foods that you can pick to eat from, and you can really choose to eat in a dirty and just go to town and go bonkers with this, or you can eat pretty clean. But the premise behind these first 2 days is to really eat a lot. Now, many of you I know, because I've worked with so many patients over the years, many of you are eating very little during the day. You might only eat once, or if you eat 2 or 3 times a day, they're just tiny little meals and you don't have much of an appetite. You're eating really healthy food, but you're still not losing. And that's really frustrating. So when I talk about the fact that for those 2 days, which is just 2 days out of 42 days total, that you're eating a lot, sometimes that can be a little bit like, oh my gosh, I'm eating, like how much am I eating? I said, well, as much as you possibly can of very high calorie, fat laden, calorie dense foods. This is the time to, like I say, it's my time to pick out. Like if you were gonna choose like the best day to start your program, Thanksgiving. If you were to start on a Thursday and then all the leftovers on Friday, you know, so those 2 days of just eating, like from the moment you wake up, you're just grazing all day, like all day, and you don't stop, right? So very high calorie, high fat, you know, just calorie dense food. We're not really necessarily concerned about the nutritional value of the foods. What the point of that is, those first 2 days, is to take a metabolism that's kind of just stuck in the gutter. Now I know a lot of you feel like yours is stuck in the gutter, because that's the way I felt when I got out of grad school. Mine was absolutely stuck in the gutter. I had to figure out a way to get it out. When I discovered this was the solution for that. So when your metabolism is just pegged, stuck in the gutter, and you start eating throughout that first day, you know, let's say you start eating at 8 a.m. and you're eating, and by 10 a.m. you've eaten 1,000 calories, and you keep eating, and by 12 p.m. noon, you've eaten, you know, 1,500 calories. For guys, we can get, you know, 2,000 calories, maybe more in that time frame. And just throughout the day, you keep eating. You're not eating just like 3 big meals. You're eating just continually, just like all your favorite snacks and foods. And I'm gonna have a milkshake, and I'm gonna have, you know, some Twinkies. I'm gonna have a hamburger. I'm gonna have, you know, several slices of pizza, and I'm gonna have another milkshake, and I'm gonna chase it with some wine and beer or whatever. You know, there's lots of different strategies depending on the type of person, because this is a personality-based type of eating as well. And some people don't resonate with that type of eating, so they'll eat a healthier, more clean type of fat, high-calorie food. So it could be avocados and olive oils and flaxseed oils and lots of calories, but through more clean anti-inflammatory foods. So you don't have to eat all the junk food, so to speak. But listen, the point being is, while your calories are ramping up, your metabolism is not used to that. It's not used to taking in that much food, and it gets like slapped in the face going, oh, pay attention, you better keep up. So it has to. It's just a physiological fact of your body that when you put that much food in the system, it wakes the metabolism up very quickly. It arouses it. It startles it. And it starts to have to go, oh, it's backpedaling to keep up. And it's really trying to keep up. So you do this for 2 days of eating a lot from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but trust me, this works. It works really well. So that's just 2 days of that. And listen, by the 3rd day, If you're not saying like, oh gosh, I am like stuffed past the salad, then you didn't do it right. So the most successful clients really take those first 2 days as serious as we tell them that they need to, and they prepare with the right type of foods, and they don't, they don't mess around with it. Like I said, it's not just 3 small meals, it's the whole day. You're trying to get as many calories in as you possibly can without making yourself ill or sick, right? You don't want to be defeating the purpose by getting nauseous, right? So that is for just the first 2 days. So imagine you do that on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And then on the 3rd day, you're still taking the special supplements, which, by the way, help to start building hormones, neurotransmitter hormones that satiate the appetite. So by the day 3, they've really started to accumulate in the bloodstream, and they start to satiate neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, leptin and ghrelin, adiponectin. These are hunger hormones and fat loss and fat mobilization, fat transport, and fat burning hormones that are going to help you not have so many cravings, because a lot of times, even if you're eating just a little bit, you have those cravings for really sweet, carb-laden foods, and those are the ones that get you in trouble because they spike your insulin so much. So on the 3rd day, you're taking these special supplements. There's just a handful of supplements. You can fit them on one hand. There's no more than 5. Very rarely is there more than that for this particular program. So on that 3rd day, we switch into a time-based eating with varieties and proportions of real foods. So when I say real foods, I'm talking about foods that you'd go and get from the grocery store, or you can order them on Instacart and they'll bring them to you, obviously, here. But we want you to have real foods. This isn't prepackaged, gunk that, somebody delivers to you from a food service. These are real foods that you are going to prepare and cook. You could have somebody prepare them for you, but we find most people like to go out and they like to learn with the recipes and the guides and all the foods lists that we have. They want to learn this for a lifestyle. They don't want to depend on someone else. So we coach them through with a high level of accountability to learn how to shop, what to look for, what foods are good, what foods are bad. There's so many foods that people think are healthy and they're really not healthy at all, right? So once you start to have that curtain pulled back and you're taking a peek inside the world of what's really nutritious and healthy and not contributing to weight storage and weight gain, and they're helping decrease your inflammation, your inflammatory process, and decrease your insulin resistance, that's when the magic happens. That's when you start going, oh my gosh, I've been missing the picture the whole time. I've been taught wrong. You've been taught wrong by the powers that be. You've been taught wrong by the big food industries. You've been taught wrong by the same people that made this food pyramid. It's just like grains and all this other, stuff was at the base, and at the very tip, it was, fruits and vegetables and fats like clear at the top. And really we want to flip that. So once you get to the 3rd day, you're eating twice a day, lunch and dinner, right? So the timing of the eating is very important, but moreover, it's the variety and the proportions of what you're eating that's most important. And what do I mean by that? Well, imagine you're going to eat on each meal a proportion of protein. So whether it's beef or chicken or some other type of poultry, it could be turkey, it could be fish, it could be, if you're in Australia, it could be kangaroo, seriously. So it just needs to be lean protein. You want the lean stuff. You don't want to eat a ribeye steak. A filet mignon or sirloin would be just fine, right? If you're eating chicken, you don't want all the skin and the fat and the fat content on it. And this is for those 40 days post the loading phase. So the loading phase is the first phase. The second phase is the losing phase. That's where you're eating like a bodybuilder would before they go into competition, and they're really defining the muscles of their body. So that's how you're eating. Eating twice a day, but you're eating very low, lean, low glycemic index, low fat foods that are anti-inflammatory in nature, right? So you're going to eat a protein, a fruit, and a vegetable with each meal, and they're weighed out. There have to be very specific proportions. You don't have to count calories, you just weigh the food. So a food scale, you're going to need a food scale. That's about all you need, and your food. And you need a wide variety of foods. You want 4 to 5 to 6 different types of proteins. So different types of fish, different types of beef, different types of chicken or poultry, just different types of proteins. And then you need different types of vegetables and different types of fruits, because it's the way that we're going to teach you how to blend the foods, the varieties, the proportions of when you're going to eat them, combined with the supplements that you're taking. That's when the magic is going to start to happen. And it generally starts to happen no later than the 4th, sometimes 5th day. Most all of the clients are in a fat burning state by that 4th day. And if they're not, then we know they haven't loaded properly, and we'll just start over. We've had people that, they just didn't understand many times by just miscommunication how important it is to really take those first 2 days seriously. So it might sound like that's a tough thing to do, but really it's not that tough. And if you think, gosh, I'm just going to take 2 days out of 42 days, and at the end of that 42 days, you're telling me I'm going to lose 20 pounds at least? Would you trade those 2 days of eating a lot for that outcome? I mean, just imagine what it would feel like to lose 20, 25, 30, 40 plus pounds if you're a guy in just 6 weeks, with maintenance built on the end of that to either keep losing or to lock in that weight so that you don't gain it back. Because that's the other thing. Yes, you're going to lose the weight. You will lose the weight. If you're invited into this program because we think you're a good fit, and I should say, not everybody's a good fit. This isn't for everyone. This isn't for the person that can't eat fruits and vegetables or proteins. That right there. Hey, I don't eat vegetables. I can't eat proteins. We do work with vegetarians. They're a little bit more challenging, but you have to be really it's between the ears, above the neck. It's your mental game of how bad do you want it? How committed and dedicated are you to the process of losing weight? And the person that is over it. I am done with this. This is costing me too much of my life, with my health, with my relationships, with my professional career, with my everything. Confidence, identity, it's costing them. So they won't go another day without making a drastic change. Those people always succeed. They just do. So you have to have that type of mindset where you're completely 100% over it. You can't just go in like, I'll try it. The tire kickers don't do well with this, so we don't invite them into our programs. That's no disrespect to them. They're just not ready for something like this. You have to be all in. You have to be all in and coachable. That's the other thing. You have to have a mindset of, being an open book, an open cup. You have to accept things that are going to be challenging to your preconceived notions of the way weight loss should work and should look and should feel and should be, because you've likely tried a bunch of different things. Am I right? Like, if you were to count how many different weight loss programs you've tried since you started gaining weight, and put a monetary value to that, what would it look like? Most of our clients say it would be well in excess of $10,000. Many say 20 or 30. I've heard up to $100,000 with some of these high-end programs, and they still haven't cracked the code on this. So when I ask, well, what would it be worth if you could lose 25 pounds on average in just 6 weeks? And they say it'd be priceless, because you would learn the lifestyle and all the tricks and tips and hacks to not only lose the weight, but to keep it off.